Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now here, 1 in 8 children and young people aged between 5 and 19 had a mental disorder in England last year. The government has pledged to provide more support and more money, but a third of young people last year did not receive the specialist help they needed. Our health and social care correspondent, Victoria MacDonald, has been speaking to one 16-year-old boy about his mental health.
Harvey Sparrow spent 18 months feeling, quite frankly, awful. Anxious, depressed. He couldn't cope with school. He sometimes didn't even want to get out of bed.
I'd have like panic attacks and stuff, and like when I'd be doing like a test at school, I'd get very stressed out and I literally would not be able to think. I wouldn't be able to think anything, and obviously that brought my grades down even more, which made me stress even more, which it was just a vicious cycle, really.
Harvey is, of course, not just a statistic, but here are the numbers that he fits into. Last year, just over 14% of 11 to 16-year-old boys had some sort of mental disorder. He was eventually referred for help and at school attended the Blues program run by Action for Children to teach coping strategies.
Something bad happens, you can think, oh, that's my fault, like I've done something bad, and then you can feel bad about it, or you can choose to kind of think that's okay, I made a mistake, and everybody does that. So, and then that kind of makes you feel better about it, and it's just a different way of looking at things that I didn't really consider before because I was so caught up on everything that I was feeling.
And what today's figures from NHS Digital show are just how many children and young people there are like Harvey. In England, 1 in 8 between the ages of 5 and 19 have a mental health problem. Picture a classroom of 24. In that room, there will be 3 children or teenagers with mental health or mental disorder problems. And that can be anything, ranging from depression or anxiety, from anorexia to autism. Some of them have more than one condition, and although these figures have been long suspected, they still remain stark. For 5 to 15-year-olds, those with mental disorders increased from just over 10% in 2004 to 11.2% in 2017. And for the first time, they surveyed up to the age of 19, so the figures increased to nearly 13% with mental disorders. This data had not been collected for 14 years, and with 9,000 children involved, it helps to highlight the complexities of mental health, social media, family issues, cyberbullying. And there are differences in the sexes. Nearly a quarter of 17 to 19-year-old girls, for instance, have a mental health problem, double the number of boys.
And I think we can use these figures to help researchers better understand the disorders that we're looking at. We can help policymakers prioritise their work. We can help the organisations that provide care and the schools to provide better care and to better understand the people that they're dealing with. And I think that's why it's really important.
NHS England and the Department of Health and Social Care say they are ramping up access to services, as well as working with schools and families and putting more money in.
We've seen an increase in prevalence of children with mental illness, and today's pressures in society, including through new technology, are increasing those problems, and we're going to address them.
The Children's Commissioner today pointed out that more than a third of children referred for specialist help did not receive it last year. Harvey Sparrow did get help in the end, but the reason he wanted to speak out was because he knows that there are others like him still suffering, and today's figures would suggest he's right.